Exeter welcome Wasps to Sandy Park in the late kick-off on Saturday as they look to maintain their unbeaten home record in the Premiership. In a lively opening, Gareth Steenson kicked 2 penalties either side of Lee Thomas's opening effort to give Exeter a 6-3 lead. But Elliot Daly scored the first try, a fine individual effort. Having received the ball from Billy Vunipola, Thomas added the extras and another penalty to make it 13-6 Wasps. Joe Simpson picked up a yellow card for cynically killing the ball as Exeter threatened to score, and from the penalty Exeter took a line out and then drove the ball over from close range. Chris Whitehead scoring his first Premiership try for the Chiefs. Steenson kicked the conversion to level it up at 13-all. Down to 14 men, Wasps got the next score. A break from Christian Wade saw him release Tom Varndell, and the winger made it 9 tries in 9 starts this season. Thomas was again on target to make it 20 points to 13 to Wasps. There was still time for another try as Hayden Thomas exploited the huge gap left by the absent Simpson to score under the post. Steenson added the conversion to make the half-time score 20 points all. Into the second half, and Wasps picked up a second yellow. Elliot Daly penalised for taking out Jack Knoll, and 2 minutes later Exeter got the first score, Steenson kicking another penalty. Just before Daly returned, a lovely crossfield kick was gathered by Phil Dolman, who crossed for Exeter's third try. Steenson added the conversion to make it 30 points to 20. And that's how it stayed until the last kick of the match, when Tommy Bell kicked a penalty for Wasps to give them a losing bonus point. So Exeter go provisionally 4th in the table, while Wasps pay for their indiscipline and remain 8th. Final score, Exeter 30, Wasps 23.
Saracens in Gloucester came into the weekend with what was effectively a share of second spot, and the match on one of the smallest pitches in the Premiership promised to be a tight one. Saracens were first to be pinged by the referee, not once but twice, as Billy Twelvetrees was offered chances to set up an early lead. That advantage was cancelled out by Charlie Hodgson, who was making his first appearance in a month. For someone with kicking percentages in the high 80s, chances like this are rarely missed. Indeed, both kickers were without blemish in the first half, though it was charged down Charlie who was charged down to offer the only try of the first 40 to Gloucester. The anticipation and speed of Akapusi Ongera rewarded. He charged it down, leaving Dan Murphy to do the rest. So the Cherry and White 7 points in front, but just moments later Gloucester were down to 14, with the try scorer Murphy being shown the yellow card, allowing Hodgson to kick his third and soon after his 4th penalties. Another Hodgson 3-pointer took Saracens in front early in the second half, but the structure which strangled much of the first 40 had now fallen away, allowing Ongera to take Gloucester back in front. Former Saracens director of rugby Brendan Fenter was among those watching, and it was the spirit he imbued which saw the 2011 champions get back into the lead. Hodgson spotting the opportunity, Chris Wiles taking the gap, and Richard Wigglesworth scoring the try. In the end, the outcome hinged on a series of scrums close to the Saracens' line, with one last effort from Steve Borthwick's men winning the day. Saracens now just 1 defeat in the last 18 at Vicarage Road and into second spot.
Northampton Saints travelled to a foggy Salford City Stadium to play a rock-bottom team in Sale Sharks, who had their first game under a new managerial structure, the newly appointed John Mitchell at the helm. The 2 try-halves, Ryan Lamb and Nick McLeod, exchanged penalties early on, before a blindside move from a line-out drive released winger Jamie Elliott after some quick hands from scrum half Martin Roberts. Lamb converted the try, and it started a run of points for the visiting team before half-time. Firstly, a turnover at the ruck went wide, and the huge Tongan prop Suane Tongawea appeared through the fog to take the lead to 15-3. A series of slow rucks near the Sale 22 gave Saints fly half Ryan Lamb the impetus to take advantage of the territory in possession, eventually striking a clean drop goal, which stretched the lead to 17 points. Then, just before half-time, the away side made the killer blow. A mistimed switch between Nick McLeod and replacement centre corner Ace was happily collected by opposite centre replacement Tom May, who had an open field to run in the try. Lamb converted, and the Saints went into the half 24 points ahead. The second half showed a promising start for the Sharks. After a period of good possession for the home side, they stretched the Saints' defence eventually, giving Matt Quater the chance to draw his opposite man and release fullback Rob Miller to score in the corner. 6 minutes later, Sale saw McLeod get another chance to chip away at the Saints' lead, and McLeod converted through the fog with ease. Chance for a losing bonus point. The next 20 minutes saw a lull in play from both sides before finally, in the 77th minute, hooker Tommy Taylor was on the end of a catch and drive, which the TMO adjudged to have been touchdown. McLeod failed to convert. The final score 27 points to 16 for the Saints. Sale still rooted to the bottom of the table. London Welsh were the first to get in their stride in this Battle of the Exiles with a penalty from outside half Gordon Ross. Controversy struck through after just 10 minutes when London Irish number 8 Chris Ala-Ufia was sent off for a spear tackle on replacement centre Seb Jewell. The Tongan now faces another lengthy ban, his 6th in just over 2 years. He was out for a total of 18 weeks last season after being found guilty of 2 offences. Gordon Ross added 2 more penalties to take his Premiership career over the 600-point mark to make the Welsh lead 9-0. Tom Homer, last season's Premiership top scorer, back in goal-kicking form after a knee injury, struck just his 2nd penalty of the season, though, to give the Irish their first points. But 1 more kick apiece from Ian Humphreys and Ross made it 12-6 to London Welsh at the break. The Irish were reduced to 13 men when Matt Garvey was yellow-carded for a trip early in the 2nd period. But they battled away gallantly as London Welsh looked for a score that would clinch this victory. It looked to have come too when Tom Arscott and Nick Scott combined on the left wing. And with the line at his mercy, scrum half Tyson Keats, all he had to do was to fall on the ball to score the try. But he failed. Gordon Ross then kicked a 5th penalty to make it 15-6. Tom Homer reduced it to 15-9 before the Irish confounded the odds by laying an assault on the London Welsh line for the rest of the game. All they had to show at the end of the day was a losing bonus point. The Welsh winners in the Battle of the Exiles, a valuable victory by 15 points to 9.
Leicester played host to Bath in what turned out to be a bad-tempered game at Welford Road. The match began brightly enough with Bath opening the scoring on 12 minutes. Nick Abendanon made the initial break before Stephen Donald turned Tigers fullback Matthew Tate inside out to touch down in the corner. The home side thought they'd hit back through Niall Morris on 25 minutes, only for the score to be disallowed by the TMO for a forward pass. And despite the Tigers now dominating proceedings, the teams went in at the break with Bath leading 5-0. Leicester finally got themselves on the scoreboard through the boot of George Ford on 44 minutes. And the first signs of trouble in the game came shortly after, when Simon Taylor was sin-binned for obstruction. And with Bath down to 14, Ford put the Tigers in the lead for the first time. But that advantage lasted barely 2 minutes, when Donald and Matt Banahan combined to send Tom Biggs in for a try, completely against the run of play. If not many people in the ground had predicted that score, then no one could have foreseen what was to follow. With Bath still a man light, Leicester pressed the visitors' defence, only for play to be stopped after Francois Lowe was caught putting an elbow into Jordan Murphy. The referee showed Lowe the red card, and Bath were now down to 13. It didn't take long for Tigers to make the most of their advantage. After the forwards had done the hard graft, the backs spun the ball wide, and Adam Tomstone had the easiest of run-ins to the line. Ford added a penalty 3 minutes later, and the Tigers were ahead 14-12. It was going to be a struggle for Bath to find a way back, but their task became nearly impossible just moments later, when Matt Banahan's swinging arm knocked Anthony Allen out cold. When the ensuing melee had died down, the referee was back into his pocket with red cards for Banahan and Brett Deacon for his punch on the Bath man. Despite their numerical advantage, the home side could only add 1 more Ford penalty before the final whistle. The full-time score at Welford Road, Leicester 17, Bath 12, but expect plenty of spice in the return fixture at the Rec in April.
Warriors travelled to the Stoop looking for back-to-back wins over the top 2 in the Aviva Premiership, but knowing history versus Quins stood against them. David Lemmy ignores history though. The Samoan received the ball with work to do on the left wing on 2 minutes and squeezed over for 5-0. Andy Goode couldn't add the extras. With Worcester 8-0 ahead, Carl Dixon almost responded with a try of his own. The wily scrum half just couldn't get the ball down as he darted over. Nick Evans took advantage of the subsequent penalty to get Quins on the board. Worcester stretched their lead to 8 once more from Good's boot before David Lemmy was penalised in the ruck and sent to the sin bin. Evans took this as a points invitation and closed the gap to 11-6. Warriors went 8 points clear for a third time, but a magnificent run from Matt Hopper cut deep into the Warriors' line, and minutes before half-time, Quins, with the conversion from Evans, were back within 1. The first half action hadn't finished. Warriors number 8 Samisi Tuolava collapsed to Quins' maul and earned himself an early break. Evans made it 16-14. The second half saw a more assured Quins. Mark Lambert pulverised debutant Ian Murray in the scrum, and the resulting penalty was neatly completed by the ever-steady Evans. Just as Warriors looked to have little left creatively, Alex Grove burst the Quins' line, found the replacement Eerie Claessens, and Claessens just managed to touch the ball on the line. Good's conversion missed from out wide. Quins kept on the pressure, and with Worcester on the back foot, the inventive Nick Evans dropped back a little and fired his team home just. Final score, Harlequins 22, Worcester 19.